The title may seem a bit contradictory since Tokusatsu has to be live action, but there have been a lot of animations that took inspiration from our favorite bike riding multicolored heroes. Let's start with the most obvious. Take one glimpse at Beautiful Joe and you know that he was inspired by Sentai and Kamen Rider. He first had a video game which became a fun anime that lasted 51 episodes. The story is... I'll just let Joe say it.
The humble skater dude turned superhero extraordinaire, handpicked by Blue himself to carry the torch of goodness and justice and stuff. The heavens call out for him, the earth calls out for him, babes call out for him. Yo, lots of babes call out for him, what can I say? Cause when the world needs a hero, there's only one name to call out. And that name, that person, that totally amazing dude is me, Beautiful Joe!
The stylized chibi designs and stilted frame rate may be a turn-off to some, but I can recommend Beautiful Joe if you just want a laid-back superhero show that is faithful to the source material. There's plenty of action and humor, so it's easily enjoyable. Guys, I just love Beautiful Joe in general, so I'm glad I can finally talk about it. We're gonna quickly bring up Toku that have animes based on them like Garo. I personally recommend the latest one, Vanishing Line. The action is fantastic and the animation is great. We don't talk about the other ones. Android Kikaider got an anime in the early 2000s. If you like classic Toku shows like Kikaider, then the anime is different enough, but still gives a vintage yet gritty vibe. That probably doesn't make sense, but look, there's Kikaider. The Imogen anime from Den-O is a thing? The one anime I see recommended to me because of Toku references is Samurai Flamenco, and yeah, you can see the influences here. This show is a love letter to all of our favorites. Akira Kushida even sings a song for the show. However, can I actually recommend Samurai Flamenco? If you want to see Toku references the show, then yeah, go for it. But if you want a good superhero show in general, at least the opening is nice.
Go, go! It's the Super Ranger Mini Force!
What is this? Sentai for kids? Wait a minute. What you see here is Mini Force, a South Korean animation. There aren't very many details I can talk about because Mini Force is an episodic show. It has 51 episodes that are only about 13 minutes each. There are a couple of arcs here and there, but for the most part these cuddly animals are called upon to fight an evil organization. I'd say it's worth the time if you just want to turn your brain off for a bit and have some fun.
Hi everyone, Paladin here. Not all henshin heroes are colorful. Devilman has our protagonist, Akira, fight against demons by becoming a demon himself, the titular Devilman. There have been several adaptations and retellings of the story, so you could really start anywhere. The original anime has its charm, and the newest iteration on Netflix is an experience with how surreal and trippy it is. Whether you read the manga or watch the shows, you can see the Tokusatsu influences. Much like Kamen Rider Shin, transforming into Devilman isn't exactly a miracle. The Guyver. This is more comparable to Shin Kamen Rider. When monsters are created, one of these monsters steals armor units and scatters them for whoever is unlucky enough to become the Guyver. While somewhat light on story, the fight scenes are as violent as early 90s and early 2000s animation allows. There's an OVA and anime, but you can start with either. There's also a couple of live action movies, but we'll save those for another day.
Let's juxtapose Devilman and the Guyver with something more colorful and unexpected. Oh no, we're not going to talk about that one. While the original Powerpuff Girls has obvious superhero influences, Powerpuff Girls Z is, well, Japanese. Of course, that includes henshin hero transformations in action. Why do the girls have a henshin sequence? Who knows, but it looks awesome. As for a recommendation, it's exactly what you would expect when you hear Powerpuff Girls but as an anime. It doesn't really follow the original story though. Professor Utonium has a son and the girls were regular humans before getting hit by Z-rays. But it's still enjoyable without needing to compare it to the original. And there's a robot dog. Seeing Powerpuff Girls Z, you might be thinking of Sailor Moon. Speaking of which...
We had to get this out of the way eventually. Henshin heroes and magical girl animes pretty much go hand in hand. And the go-to example is Sailor Moon. We don't have to say much about this, do we? Everyone knows Sailor Moon. Yeah? Alright, awesome.
If Sailor Moon doesn't come to mind when someone brings up Magical Girl show, then the Pretty Cure series is another obvious choice. A lot of people have called it animated toku, like how Sentai and Rider are referred to as live-action anime. Don't let the colorful little girl aesthetic turn you away. Pretty Cure has something for everyone and you can pretty much start anywhere.
You can't have a list of tokusatsu without mentioning giant fighting robots. You have your Gundams and Voltrons, but did you know there was a Transformers show made exclusively for Japan? You all know the story of the Transformers. What if the Autobots won the war and decided to keep sleeper agents on Earth? And what if these agents were Transformers disguised as humans? This is the basic plot of Transformers Super God Master Force. There's a focus on the human side of the story, so if you're a fan of Transformers, you might enjoy a change of pace.
There are superheroes of all kinds out there, even one that dances. Brave Beats is about a boy named Hibiki, who has to collect the dance stones to return his robot buddy back to the dance world. The story may be in familiar territory to a lot of you, but music and dancing is a big part of the show. Take one look at the visuals and you know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Mega Man NT Warrior is inspired by the video games of the same name. The main character Lan lives in the future, where everyone has their own personal humanoid programs called NetNavis. Lan and his NetNavi Mega Man are some of the best net battlers in their neighborhood. I like the use of a digital world similar to Digimon. I would recommend this series to fans of X-Aid. The name Gatchaman might seem familiar to some, as Crowds is a reimagining to the also amazing series called Science Ninja Team Gatchaman. You're probably wondering why I'm bringing up the reimagining and not the original. To start off, Crowds imagines a more modern and intriguing story, where technology and mystical tropes collide. A secret group named the Gatchamen protect the world from aliens with robotic suits powered by note spirits. I feel that's all you need to know, as the series starts off with a new member being filled in about the team's purpose. Next on the list is Witchblade, which might be familiar to comic book fans, as the series was loosely based on a comic of the same name, created by Top Cow Productions. When I mean loosely based, the name and the main character design are the only things the anime and the comic have in common. The story itself is about a single mother named Masan and her daughter Rihoko, who both arrive in Tokyo where crazy murders have occurred. During an attack, the mother's powers activate, and she becomes the host of the Witchblade. This series has somewhat similar themes that are present in Kamen Rider Amazons, but at its core, the series is about family.
What if a hero grew tired of constantly saving the world and acted like fighting a monster wasn't a big deal anymore? Sun Red is exactly that story. Our hero deals with everyday life that just so happens to have an evil organization wanting to defeat him. Although the most they do is interrupt Sun Red's grocery shopping by Monster of the Week. This show is hilarious, and feels even more personal as you watch Sun Red just wanting to spend one normal day with his girlfriend. Things have become so mundane that the fights happen in the park near Sun Red's house, so they don't have to travel anywhere else. Did I mention that the show is funny? Come on, even the villains have part-time jobs, and they apologize for ruining Sun Red's day. Please watch Sun Red, or at least give it a try. He didn't pawn off his bike for nothing. We haven't even scratched the surface with tokusatsu and animation. There are other shows like Voltron, Gundam, Scride, Cyberpunk 009, Saint Seiya, Hurricane Palomar, and much, much more. Maybe we'll save those for another day. Thank you so much to Paladin for requesting this and for joining me.
I just want to say thanks to Marcosatsu for collaborating with me to make this awesome video.
I'm Marcos the Animation Satsu, and I'll see you guys next time.